Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Greentext thread. Gather round and tell some tales of fear and mystery.
Literally only two remotely spooky things that have happened to me in my life that I can think of, and neither aren't that bad. I need more spooks in my life. Here's the first one. Got to an abandoned mental hospital on a beach an hour from us. There are two buildings on the beach. One is a smaller 3-floor plus basement building, just for living. Bedrooms, bathrooms, etc. The other building is the main building, much bigger. We decided we want to get inside. The main building was completely locked up and boarded up, no way of getting in. Found a small hole in the fence surrounding the smaller building. My friend is much skinnier than me and squeezes into a hole in the building and unlocks a door for me. We roam around the building and keep getting spooked from movement we keep hearing all over the building. Get to the 3rd floor, and we find corpses of birds in the bathrooms. Would be normal, but they were carefully arranged in each sink, wings folded up and everything. A bird then comes swooping in over our heads and scares the hell out of us. We look out the windows and see a truck just circling the building slowly, and we decided to dip out of there. From what I read online, people found the dead birds in sinks in the other buildings too. Second story. My friend and I are road tripping through Canada. Went in through upstate New York, into Niagara Falls, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, then back to the States to home. Last time we visited Canada, we talked about taking random exits and seeing the back roads and small towns of Canada. I'm driving during this encounter. Start driving to random places in Ontario. End up in a campground area, and this guy tries flagging me down in the middle of nowhere. I say to my friend, I'm not stopping for this guy. We were in a different country in the middle of nowhere with no phone signal. I don't want to take any risks of dealing with strange locals. I drive right past him, and he hops in his truck and starts following me. I get nervous and speed up and take a turn. The guy takes a turn also, speeding up. Realize he's following me. I start whipping my small car at about 70 miles per hour, or like I don't know, 100 kilometers per hour, I think it was. Lose him, and I go about 2 towns over. Me and my friend find a random lake with a beach area and find several cars parked along the road. The road had only one house the whole stretch, and these cars were parked too far to be at it. Get out of the car and go to the beach, and we see no one around. Start to get paranoid. Why is there a bunch of cars but no one around? We walk along the road probably a half mile to this stretch of rocks where this light post thing is, and there's a car parked nearby it with its high beams on pointed at the rocks. No one gets out of the car, and we don't hear any music or anything. Decide to go back to my car. As we walk back, this truck passes us with high beams also on, and shortly after it passes us, it stops and pulls over, but doesn't shut its engine off. At this point, I'm full-blown paranoid. By the time we get back to the car, he shuts his lights off but keeps the engine running. I kept looking back at this truck the whole time, wondering why it decided to stop almost immediately after passing us. Again, there was only one house on this stretch of road that was probably a mile long. We both get back into the car, and I start it up. As soon as I do that, one of the cars that was parked along the beach takes off. At this point, we had been along this beach for an hour or so, and the sun had set. We did not see a single person the whole time, and there were about 5 or 6 cars parked along the coast. I took off. My heart was racing. I felt like I was being watched by the locals. I was speeding the whole way, clearly going way over the limit. At one point, a car in the distance started getting closer and closer until it caught up to me. I started sweating and freaking out to myself because I was driving like a maniac, and my paranoia was telling me I was being followed again. I eventually got back onto the highway and started calming down. I just couldn't understand how I didn't see a single soul in that town. I never want to explore random Canadian rural areas again. But when my friend was driving, He decided to drive around farm areas in Quebec, and we saw some spooky abandoned houses and churches.
Here's one. I want people to take this as legitimately true because I would like someone to give some actual, serious, rational explanation to what it may be. This was back in my apartment when I moved out in 1993. I don't have the recording I'm about to mention because we didn't have fancy digital recording shit all over back then. Just getting my shit settled in, get boxes out of my way in the living room, and immediately set up the TV and bring the couch over. Drag the couch over into the living room sloppily because I just want to sleep. Hear my mom call my name from the other room. Say, yeah, and stand up getting ready to go to her, but she isn't in my apartment but a few states away. Can't pinpoint where I heard it from, but checked the whopping 4 rooms. Nothing. Immediately that I'm not going to go through this kind of game, buy one of those huge tape recorders. Leave it on while I'm at work. Didn't have to do it long. Very first day I come back, I check the recording. Can hear myself leave. Absolute silence for about 12 or 15 minutes in. Hear a door click shut somewhere in the house, and my mom saying, "Anon? Anon?" echoing down the main hallway. I had gotten a friend to help me pack my shit and move away that day. I showed him the recording after explaining what happened, and he was freaked out by it too. Even explained it over the phone to my parents and had them listen to it. It was something I passed around for a while, but I left it back at my parents' house, and that shit is long gone. Now, unless my mom really missed me and was incredibly fast, I don't know what it was. The best I could come up with was some kind of weird, creepy ghost shit, or was some homeless woman who somehow also sounded exactly like my mom, and knew my name that was crazy and living in my apartment's walls. If it was a prank of some kind, it was fairly elaborate, and I don't think any of my friends and family would cost me an apartment for a laugh.
16 or 17 years old. In a shitty relationship, a lot of stress and anger is pent up. Don't have any real way to exert it except working out. Never really was into occult stuff as I am now, but I was still very spiritual in a sense that there are beings and different dimensions and just an ultimate connection we have with the universe. I began to find it difficult to sleep comfortably as I start to have nightmares. Sometime during the months of March through May, I have nightmares nightly like a late-night show. I am afraid to fall asleep, so I try to think happy thoughts, but still, it is difficult to be happy when things were not working out for me at the time. My room is practically a perfect square. To the east, a window. The south, closet door with entry door by it. The west wall was where my bunk bed was at, share the room with my younger brother. North, more furniture. There is a floodlight the apartments behind me have which shines through my window and projects light onto the wall my bed was at, kind of key to this. One night, I feel and hear a sort of vibration and rumble. I felt like I was shaking myself around, but I woke up from it, so I was shaking before my eyes were even open. I can't remember exactly if I fell asleep right after, or I just stayed awake, but there was definitely something by my bed. The wall with the light was being shined upon. I can't remember as well if there was a shadow being cast on it, but something caused me to turn slowly around, head first, back against the window and side of bed. Slowly, steadily, cautiously, turned my body as well. Then I saw what looked like at first some sort of elephant-shaped cryptid. Big ears, wide stature, however short in height. Then a piercing sort of whistle that turned into a sort of white noise rang through my ears. I froze up, mouth agape. I had my body sort of balanced on my side, so when I lost all control of my body and muscles, I rolled back over to my starting position. The ringing was still in my ears until black overtook my vision and put me to sleep. The next morning, I wake up on my backside, head tilted sort of towards the window. I just lay there in a daze, kind of like, what the fuck was that moment? It was easy for me to remember what happened. Therefore, I couldn't tell if it was real or just a vivid nightmare. I didn't know if it was some sort of visitation. I was really into aliens and UFOs at the time, so maybe that caused something. Hallucination or just sleep paralysis. I tried ruling out things with my brother, asking if he woke up that night, but he said no. Asked my mom if there was an earthquake she felt during her sleep. I live in Sokol. Earthquakes are common. My mom wakes up from them easily. I once stayed up until 3 a.m. playing games with my headset, and she said she woke up at around 2 because of an earthquake she felt. It was minor, like a 3.8. My mom said nothing woke her up, so I immediately began racing thoughts through my head. I already had a hard time being around my friends at school, and even just talking with them, so most of my quiet time I would spend thinking about what happened. Later that night, I am scared shitless to go through it again. I tell my oldest brother about this when he visited, and as I told the story, images rushed back of what I saw. It wasn't something shaped like an elephant, more like 2 alien heads like the Greys. No problem telling him this since we are both enthralled by that stuff. After the discussion, I go to bed but with no nightmares. I woke up happily the next day, went on with my life, and found the strength to push through my hard times, kind of. I still cannot say if it was real or just a vivid dream, but I'd like to think it was real, and I got lucky with an encounter. Or maybe unlucky. Side note, the nightmares subsided for quite some time after that event. I still had some, but rarely to the extent of me being afraid to sleep. I did start having a lot more dreams last year and before that about UFOs and aliens coming down to Earth, and some this year. But nothing too terrible like that. Any thoughts, though, or experiences? Sleep paralysis would be the easy way to describe it, but if the answer was that simple, I would be able to just let this go.
This happened to me last month. Not really scary, just weird. Summertime, mid-August, hanging out with friends at night. We all head out around 2:30 a.m. Driving home. My house is located at the end of a long gravel driveway, with a few other houses on this road. Also have a tall road sign at the bottom of the driveway where it connects to the main road. See something hanging off the road sign in the distance with my headlights. It's a cardboard sign attached to it. I kinda thought it was weird because I didn't see that sign when I left around 10 p.m. The sign wasn't even that good looking. Looked like it was half-assed, put together with a torn square board and Sharpie. Pull into the driveway and stop. Roll down the passenger side window and read the sign. I couldn't make out what it was saying. The top of the sign had only 3 characters, an A, E, and then some kind of weird symbol. There was more writing on the board, below the 3 characters. Too small to read. I would have had to get out of the car to read it. Felt uneasy, like I shouldn't get out of the car. Felt like I was being lured outside. Fuck that. Drive home. The sign was gone the next day.
Shit, good callin' on. Avoid that kind of situation like the plague. I got a similar one as well. Be me sometimes in April, May, March, first half of 2017. Went to a town close to mine to hang out with a friend. The road is 20 kilometers, something like 12 miles or so. Anyway, something you can cover in like 20 max, 12 minutes if you go pretty fast. Pretty linear road, with two curves that look very similar. The layout doesn't really matter. I'm only writing so you can get a better grasp on the spot. Of course, no light poles. Country road with loads of lesser roads protruding from the main track which lead to nowhere. A bunch of gas stations with lights on and truckers' motel rooms. So here I head to drink some with my boy. That's good stuff, trust me. JPEG. Nope, I don't feel it. .pe. Greet him good night. The fucker cost me 30 euros. Not worth it. Nope, nope, nope. Head home through the same road. Shit. I'm not dizzy. Cues playing on my stereo and enjoying my lonely thoughts. Arrive close to the last curve before a straight road that leads basically directly to home. No lights. Not even moonlight on this brief bit. Just before this curve, mind you, a dangerous one, as you cannot see incoming traffic. A car stopped, not even on the side, just barely on the gravel sidewalk. Uh-oh. The emergency signal is supposed to be at a visible point, at least 100 paces, I reckon. Everything else is opened, as in hood, trunk, and doors. Slow down. Maybe someone needs help. Gotta gain that karma points. Now, it's not like that road is completely always deserted or barren or abandoned or whatever. It's the other way around. Long story short, it's the only way, rather the quickest, from Taranto to Bari. Not many cars at like 2 a.m. though. Some inhabited houses and farms around, but it's not like people give a shit, especially given the time. As I move close, I see the emergency triangle is very close. Too much, in fact, just under the trunk. Doors wide open, no emergency lights on. Also, the car is not parked, rather stopped. I don't think it's an issue related to the battery or the electronic stuff. Next to the car is a field of tall grass, maybe crops. Quick rundown of my drive. I didn't see anybody on the side of the road while driving there. I say this because the aforementioned gas station is where I came from, and the same place is closed anyway. Highly unlikely that some countryside folk gave them help, as they are both assholes and reasonable people. Realize I'm alone. Realize nobody would ever keep their car open to steal in this region. Speed home? I'll get my karma point next time in the damn sunlight. I didn't see anybody else on the road in front of the car later, not even with the bright lights on. It seemed to me almost an invitation. That's how the car was when I came around. Also, no lights on whatsoever. Fuck it.
Be me about 18. Went to an old mental hospital with a few friends. A girl that was with us, I'll call her SA, liked to use Ouija boards. Other friends with us were A, D, and M, S, and D being the girls. Anyways, first time in the place, I was always skeptical of the boards, but decided to try it out. I should mention the hospital used to be a TB ward for children before it became a mental hospital. We set up in a corner room near where the kids were kept at one point. Asked if anyone was there. No response at first. Asked again. The planchette moves to yes. Stop moving the piece, D and I say. We aren't, the others say. M is writing down what the board spells out so we don't miss anything and isn't touching the planchette. After a bit of bickering, ask for a name. Planchette spells out Rosemary. Ask her how old she is. Planchette spells out 10. We all look at each other, kind of whisper. Think we might be talking to a TB victim. Planchette, without being prompted, spells out want to play with a question mark. M, being the braver one, says yes. A really old ball rolls down the hall in front of us. M rolls it back. The ball rolls back. This continues for a few minutes. All of us stare, not knowing what to think. Suddenly, the planchette moves to goodbye. The ball doesn't come back. None of us were touching the planchette when it moved. A little spooked, but never felt a bad presence.
Be 5 years ago. Be me and 6 friends, walking home from a friend's house at 11 p.m. The quickest route home is through a supermarket car park and graveyard. We hop the fence, walking through the graveyard, pitch black, can barely see the trees. I'm a skeleton dot ama. Suddenly, a light appears behind us around 100 feet. Looks like a torch shining through trees. We scramble for cover, thinking it's the caretaker. Make our way to the graveyard side wall and decide to walk the wall instead of through the graveyard. We traverse along the wall. What the fuck is that? Looks back. The light is now on the wall around 50 feet behind us. It's not a caretaker. It's literally just a ball of white light around 2 feet across. Can't tell if it's illuminated or actually snow white, but it definitely isn't attached to anything human. Squints at it for a second. Nope. Yup. It's definitely just some random white ball of fucking light following us along the wall. We all nope.jpg and start sprinting along the wall. It's following us. Some of us were semi-screaming at this point. Somehow we all make it to the end, without slipping. Jump from the wall, land into a full sprint. Have one last look back, see the ball drop down from the wall. No thanks. We sprint half a mile to our area, barely stopping for traffic. Get to our respective doors. Run inside without even a goodbye. Good night, Mom. Spend the night peering out of my bedroom window. Too scared to go for a piss until the sun came up. Next day. We all meet up around noon. We all agree that we were chased by a white ball of light through the graveyard. All agree never to cut through the graveyard again at night. 5 years later. Not even once.
This happened last week. It's a shitty story, but it's the best I have at the moment. Be me. At my parents' home for a couple of weeks. Staying up late as always, doing stupid shit on my laptop. Mom has been sleeping for a couple of hours already. Dad just went to bed. Hear a lot of noise in the kitchen. Sounded like plastic stuff being thrown around. The cat's on the couch. It wasn't her. Go to the kitchen. There is an upside-down plastic bucket on the floor at the center of the room. That was clearly the noise. But where did it fall from? The only place from where it could fall and land where it landed would be from the top of the fridge. Why would someone put the bucket on top of the fridge? How could it fall from the top of the fridge if it was there? Dad heard the noise too and asks me what that was. Explain it to him and ask him where did he put the bucket. He says he put it where it always is, on top of the washing machine in the laundry. The laundry is a small room next to the kitchen, and the washing machine is in a corner. For the bucket to land in the center of the kitchen like it did, it would have to fall in a way that not only turns around the corner but also allowed it to climb a pretty high step between the two rooms. Next day, I showed Dad and Mom where the bucket landed. We try putting it and making it fall in all the possible ways, trying to get it at least into the kitchen with no success at all. Mom always talked about some relatives like uncles and grandparents hearing and seeing weird shit happening in this house, but none of us ever did. My face when maybe I finally saw something interesting. Pick is a small sketch of the kitchen and laundry room.
I've posted this before, but because it happened to me and I still remember it every time I eat pizza. Be me, 6 or 7 years old. Mexican, but visiting relatives in San Antonio. Walking all day around malls and shit. tired and very hungry. My great-uncle Robert, aka Grunkle Babby, suggests we go get some pizza. Mom, Grunkle, Big Sis, older cousin, and I go to Pizza Hut. It's like 10:30, so the town's pretty empty and dark. Since I was shy, I just sat with Mom while Grunkle Babby ordered. Suddenly, Sis and cousin come crying to the table. They say there's a vampire outside. I peek out the window and there's a really skinny, pale guy outside. Sis and cousin insist that he's a vampire. Mom talks to Grunkle and he agrees to just go outside and tell the guy that he's scaring us and to just go away. From what I can tell, the guy mutters something and Grunkle starts yelling at him. Grunkle's pretty pale, but suddenly turns red and starts grabbing the guy. He screams, "Norma, tell them to call the fucking cops." Jesus Christ, the cops arrive and take the guy who didn't resist at all. We ended up taking our pizza home. It was Hawaiian. When I turned, I think, 16, I asked my mom what that shit was about and she told me the guy wanted to buy my sister and cousin and asked Grunkle Babby how much for both of them. The place looked like pick-related.
I got this strange happening as a child that scared me. Be 12 or so, strolling around the town's forest. There is an old World War II bunker. Nothing too special in this part of Germany. The entries are closed with bars that were installed later for safety. The thing is old and might collapse. One entrance had its bars ripped away. I think it was teenagers with a scooter or something like that. Time for exploring the creepy bunker dungeon, thinks my 12-year-old self. There's barely any light inside, and mold everywhere. I've seen mold stalagmites and stalactites. The place fucks me up, worried because of the mold and the chance of the thing collapsing. Decide to leave. From behind, I hear sudden snarling. It's coming from a room I didn't check because the ceiling looked decayed. I also saw a body moving. It looked almost like a goblin in retrospect. I ran for my life. Nothing followed. Never been there again. As teens, my friends went there once and said they heard movement and ran as well. I have no clue what that was. It wasn't too big. Maybe like a midget with pale skin. I think it was pale. The lighting was shit down there. The closest thing to describe it really is a goblin. I still wonder what it was and if it's still alive. It's been 10 years since. I worry about what would have happened if I checked that room.
Get home from college. Decide I'll have a nap for an hour or so, as I didn't sleep well last night. What happens next is a bit of an interpretation since it was really confusing. Dream about being in bed. I realise it's a lucid dream, so I get up and walk around. While I'm walking down the road, I start to wake up. I wake up in my bed, annoyed that my lucid dream ended so soon, and figure I might as well get up now. Go downstairs and let my dog outside to take a shit. Outside is full of different exotic animals like elephants and tapirs and shit, and the ground is all brown grass like in the African savannah. Realise this is another lucid dream and call my dog inside and a load of the exotic animals for some unknown reason, then wake up in my bed again. This time I can't move. I try to move my legs and open my eyes, but I'm completely paralysed. I can just hear rain outside and something tapping on my door. After a while of trying to move, I hear my door slam open and it jolts me awake. I wake up yet again, but I feel like I'm actually awake this time. Go downstairs, still worried that I'm in a dream, so I'm a bit wary. Go and let my dog out. He refuses to go outside and just sits on the sofa like I already let him out this afternoon. Notice my door was open when I went downstairs too. And I usually close my bedroom door to not let the heat out. frantically check my house for lions for a few minutes before I realise what I'm doing. This experience has really confused me, and I've been expecting just to randomly wake up in bed again.
Not really spooky or whatever, but has happened to me several times in the past month. Own my own house. Go to sleep. Shut the bedroom door. Wake up. It's open. Think, oh shit, someone's been in. Panic check. Nothing stolen. Nothing's been moved. Huh. Must have been the cats knocking it open during the night. A few days later. Wake up and the door is open again. The cats were shut downstairs today. What the fuck? Oil up the lock because maybe it just slides open with some wind or something. It now shuts smoothly. Give it a few short kicks. It can't open accidentally now. Forget about it for a week. Wake up again. It's open. Maybe I'm going for secret night pisses, and I'm forgetting. Slightly worried now though. Nothing for 2 days. Find a lock for that room. Lock the door at night. Wake up in the middle of the night because there was a slight thud at the door and I was already on edge. Too pussy to go check it out. Haha, must be the cats. Scared now. The following day I lock the door, have the cats in the room with me, can hardly sleep. Wake up for no reason, no sound, but both cats are staring under the door from the other side of the room. Really don't want to sleep tonight.
I've really got to stop coming to these threads. Been fucking my sleep up the last few weeks. Too spooked to go downstairs at night to get a drink because the light is broken. Have to use my phone and USB light, but that makes it spookier. Scared to go down the hall to piss because the light in the top hall is fucked as well. And they have this weird proprietary connector, so it's a pain in the ass to buy a new bulb. Been sleeping with the light on, and when I'm braver with triple PC monitors on bright and the light off. Been waking up after 2 to 5 hours of sleep some nights, like 2 to 5 a.m. Been getting sleep paralysis every few nights. Had it twice last night. Could barely move, and my eyelids felt heavy. Thought a guy in a plague doctor mask was standing over me. Spooked. Managed to move my arms slightly but felt like 10 times gravity. Gets to a point where it's too much to move any higher from my bed. Found out that moving arms and legs together is more effective. Told the plague doctor guy I'm not dying tonight. After saying that, mustered all my strength and managed to break free and fully wake up. Still spooked afterwards. Feels like my limbs are chained down as when I reach a certain height. It's like a limit. If I go past that limit, I wake up and it stops. These threads are fucking me too much. I have to ride my bike down about a mile of road with no street lights at 11 p.m. Pitch black apart from my shitty bike lights. Wooded areas on both sides of the road. Any night now I'm expecting a skinwalker or some other shit to be staring at me as I ride past on my electric bike. Doesn't help that my family has a long history of spooky stuff happening, and my old house was haunted. Plates would fly off the cabinet and smash against the wall. Coins would fly off the TV and hit shit. We'd feel people pulling our shirts. One night my oldest brother is in the bathroom while my mum bathes my baby brother. Brother felt a pull on his shirt and said, "Stop it, Mum," 'cause he thought it was my mum messing with him. She denies it. Happens a few more times. Brother accuses, Mum denies. Eventually, Mum catches it happen and sees brother's shirt get pulled like someone pulled it. Stuff like that would happen all the time, hearing noises and loud bangs around the house, and at night, I need to ask my mum about it more. The weird thing is that as soon as my parents put a little brass statue of Jesus on the cross in the living room, it all stopped. They got it from a boot sale for a few quid. But it's been in our houses all the time since we moved and nothing else has happened. I'm scared that if I move out, I won't get the protection and spooky stuff will happen when I'm living alone.
I used to live on what I'd call a cursed farm. Move into a farm with Mom and Mom's abusive boyfriend. The place has an extensive history of dead people. The last owner died electrocuted when he tried to fix a light on an electric pole outside. Pretty stupid considering electric poles are not private property, but whatever. First few months, Mom seriously injures herself 3 times. All 3 occurrences needed serious medical intervention. The attic is sealed shut. Constantly hear footsteps in the attic and other assorted banging noises. Get pushed by an invisible thing while doing farm work in the storage barn. We stayed less than a year and sold the place. I wish I could also say that my mom's abusive boyfriend from that time was possessed or some shit, but he was just that much of an asshole. Things kept happening to me, my mom and his kids, but nothing ever happened to him. Maybe he was that fucking evil of a person that the curse thought he was a bro or something. But the real irony in this is that none of the paranormal shit that happened to us in there came close to the kind of violence we had to endure from him. And, as I said, it would be easy to pin it on the curse, except that we lived in many places before and after that farm, and this guy was about exactly as evil as he always was when he came into our life.
Not a spooky story, and not even /X/ really, but scared the shit out of me at the time, and I like telling it, so fuck it. Be a Brit-bong, grew up in London, moved to the West Country when I was 21. Been there a few months, some friends want to go camping on Dartmoor and invite me. Only been camping at festivals before. Only thing I know about Dartmoor is from occasional news reports about people going missing there. Don't think much of it and tag along. Me and 2 others get there and set up camp, with another 2 arriving later. Chilling and drinking, other friends running late so it gets dark. They finally arrive. The friends I came with go to get them. We're only like 15 minutes from where we parked. Sitting there alone, amazed by how dark it is. City boy, so growing up nights just meant the sky went from blue to orange. Can't hear shit except for the fire, or see anything more than 6 feet from it. Suddenly, from about a foot behind me, just to my left, I hear a loud as fuck jump out of my chair and spin around on the verge of pissing myself. It's a fucking pony. Those things are everywhere up there, enough hikers and campers so they are used to people. I guess it was just curious about what the light was or wanted to see if I'd feed it anything.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.